have to hit it. I guess it.
Yeah, you can do it. Just click start recording.
Okay.
Now it should be doing both.
Okay. I guess I'll share the link with people. Okay. Okay. I sent the link. Does are you gonna check it? Someone?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, Anna. Do you want to look this way? Hey, TG.
What?
Do you think you can? You want to lay down? Okay.
This is a nice setup.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I will send the link to the spotting
Yeah,
group.
it's fine.
This green one doesn't go with it. That's why
Alright.
okay. Are you?
This one in tune was not
Are you? Is it? Did you test the audio? Did you? Can you guys listen to see if it sounds okay? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Does someone else? Does someone else? Does someone else want to talk into that one? I guess. Yeah. Hi.
Welcome.
Is it?
Hello.
Is it
Hello.
still,
Can
is
anyone
it
hear
still-
me out there? Aliens.
Yeah, it's a little delayed.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about the delay. Let's just hear. I just want to hear the
Can we
audio.
hear?
Hey, how's it
Hello?
going?
Yeah, we can.
It's all good? Okay. All right. Okay, so I guess I'm going to send a message. Should I post it on X or no? Or just the group chat, the Black Sky group chat?
I would just do the group chat, but
Okay.
that's just me.
Join us now. All right.
Ja, maar het duurt wel even hoor, dat je hoort 2 of 3 loops.
All right, we're live and we're streaming right now, and I just shared it, so there might be other people observing right now. Okay, all right. Okay. I'm trying to see what time it is. So it's 11 o'clock. First thing I wanted to do was check in and see how much brain power everyone has for conversating tonight. How long do you think we should go? Like 40 minutes? Longer? Yeah. Okay. Okay. We'll go with the flow. Yeah. All right. Okay. So. Huh? What? We need to get you some coffee. Okay. So, welcome everyone here and everyone who might be tuning in and watching to Aetheria Symposia 1 semi-closing day. We might do some more activities tomorrow, but probably not unlikely that they will be streamed. So, what's Oh, no, I don't think so. Okay. Wait, we haven't started yet. Are you the one that needs to remember or someone else? Okay. All right. All right. There's multiple people setting timers for that. All right. So we are gathered here on the roof of Aetheria. And soon I'm going to explain what Aetheria is, but welcome to Aetheria Symposia 1, the first gathering here in Crete. I am Stella our magnet. I am very awkward because I'm being recorded right now. And I'm going to try my best to not be awkward. With that disclaimer out of the way to give me free reins of being awkward the rest of this evening, we can get started. So, first, I'm going to do my best at briefly describing what Black Sky Society is, what we have been up to past few weeks, past few months here in Crete at Aetheria, what Aetheria is, how that fits into the constellation of Black Sky Society, and ideally where this is all headed. Okay, so Black Sky Society. I'm going to start with that. I printed out some notes that I'm going to refer to here. Let's take it out of here so it's a bit easier to look at. But yeah, I guess it's called Black Sky Society. Not in the sense of, sometimes there are these non-profits created and it's like we are the blah 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 society. It's a bit different than that. There's a vision for imagining and creating and being a part of a new society, something that is more, I would say, in alignment and in tune with everything in the best possible way. Whether that's the planet, the stars, the cosmos, other people. So it's something like that as far as what does it mean when you are imagining or creating something that is a society. So that's the short version of why there's this society in the name of this Black Sky thing. And then why is it called Black Sky? And that relates to Black Sky thinking. And I'm going to refer to my notes here and share a little passage from our paper. So we borrowed Black Sky from Rachel Armstrong, who describes Black Sky thinking as literally feeling its way around the possibilities by mapping and working with the nature of reality, serving as an attractor for change agents who are coming together around common challenges to generate a whole range of new possibilities. So, in the world, sometimes you hear of like blue sky projects. That's about, like projects that are like, okay, green energy, or it's like maybe like electric cars. Like it's like, okay, we're evolving a regular car, a gas engine car, to an electric car. That might be like something like a blue sky project. Black sky projects are one level out, like spaceships kind of, but not only technical engineering sort of Black Sky projects in the context of Black Sky Society, also Black Sky thinking when it comes to social structures, human organization. So, I spent the last, since 2017 or so working on decentralized autonomous organization. So that is something like a Black Sky thinking, social human organization type of project. Not has not been very easy for people to create these DAOs and make them really take off as the next, replacement for our current world. And I don't think that it is going to work in the way that people have imagined today. But but the thing that something like a decentralized autonomous organization has sort of like inspired is people actually coming together and saying, hey, actually maybe we do have some kind of a chance of breaking through these existing like corporate molds or these like stagnant institutional bureaucracies. So there has been this push and this energy that hasn't existed for a while. Maybe the last time we have experienced something like this was part of like the Back to Land movement, when we had the Whole Earth catalog, and people were, building off the grid houses and that. So I think that with like the resurgence of DAOs, I see these like echoes of that era reemerging. So I think like the opportunity that exists is, well, how do we learn from the past back to land movement? A lot of people had these, these visions of these alternative communities, like highly like utopian, but we don't really see those people ruling the world today, or like not ruling the world, but being in power, being in places of power that and like ideally having created, more holistic, integrated structures. So we don't really see that. But, I was highly inspired by Black Mountain College, Santa Fe Institute, when it comes to Black Sky Society as well. So, yeah, Black Sky Society, it's not just me. There are other co-founders of the society, and there are other contributors, orbiters, I don't know whatever you want to call them, but I guess we call them skylights. But some people are more strongly a part of it. Other people are still trying to figure out what the fuck is this, and and maybe even trying to figure that out for multiple years. But this year, it's the vision of what it is finally being a bit more crystallized. But as far as like a crew of people, it's been around in different ways at least since 2020, but it might even predate that, as far as some projects that I did with one of the co-founders, Monica, in like 2009 or so, when we were first starting to build some kind of a blog and trying to bring artists and technologists like together, and like there were just like all these like the prequel to Black Sky Society started in 2009 or so. But it was always about, it was partially rooted in some kind of a frustration of like why what like for me, it was like whenever I was very, very young, I was like 20 or something, I was like, why I have all these amazing friends, why are we all just like really everyone just has jobs at these other places, and why aren't we like doing things together? This doesn't make any sense to me. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. So it was like like the way that society was organized, like it didn't make sense to me from like a very, very young age. And it's taken a long time to figure out how to structure something in a way to maybe motivate or inspire people to alter their like traditional like corporate patterns or ways of organization. So, Black Sky Society for me is like the culmination of just a lot of angst and frustration from like teenage years of the world not making sense to me. And how do we design a new society? So over the past few years, like I said, I've been a part of many different DAOs, and DAOs are just like this one, like traditionally, it's like this one big blob, and they do have like pods sometimes of like different committees. So sometimes they start to resemble a corporation, but sometimes whenever they initially start out, they're very flat. They're very permissionless, so anyone joins. So you have every fucking mental problem ever combined, because everyone's just like, oh, you don't have to go through a job interview. I could just show up into the Discord and contribute. Doesn't matter how great of a worker I am, or like whatever my issues are. So it's like, okay, everyone, I have mental issues as well, and a lot of them came out in DAOs. So but yeah, DAOs are a hot mess most of the time. So over the past few years, I was thinking about this, and I was like, okay, well, Black Sky Society, it's not gonna be exactly like a DAO, but how do you create like some sort of like emergent society where both you can have like leadership pods, but you can also just have other people that are coming in, inspired, trying to check it out, seeing where they fit into the picture. So So this is where Skylabs come into play. And first, I guess I should probably describe some other things about, well, what does it take to create a society? This is not just a digital organization where we're just all hanging out behind our computers and like getting like back problems or whatever. No, it's about like actually creating physical spaces in the world. Like, I didn't build this house. I don't own this place where we are now, but we are in the first Skylab, Aetheria. And a Skylab could just be that. Like, someone's like, I'm just going to rent this property and it's going to be a Skylab that's part of Black Sky Society. And whenever someone takes the initiative to do that, that person is like the source, so they have creative control. That space is like their work of art. It's like if someone's like an artist and they're painting something, you let them paint the thing. You're not like going and taking their paintbrush and like no, you did that wrong. It's like, no, this Skylab system is set up in a way so people can be artists and creators of spaces, and they have that creative autonomy, and it can connect with a network of other people. They're like, okay, well, I rented this here. I have some creative control here. Someone might be inspired. I'm going to go rent that place down the street. I'm going to start another Skylab, and then we start to weave and create this network of Skylab. So it's like, this is Aetheria. So far, it's my Skylab. It's like, but over time, people might be like, this is actually a really cool space. Can I be a part of it too? Can it be our Skylab? And I might be like, yeah, let's see. Let's live together for 6 months first and see if we love each other in a way, or that we can get through our kind of, like intense moments or not. If not, then maybe just find a place down the street or something, So that's the Skylab vision of Black Sky Society, and like how you can create these physical spaces where everyone doesn't have to always agree like right away, and it can just be like, okay, this is how it works for right now until I get my own Skylab going, or I figure out how this can be my Skylab too. So this is just kind of like, you need these sort of structures, this sort of governance in creating physical spaces, because it takes time to find like coherence amongst a group of people that you're like on the same wavelength for how everything works. It takes time to figure that out, and that's like my major lesson from DAOs is like it's always going to be like a bunch of chaos that you have to work through at first, and then eventually you work through it and you find like the rhythm, and it just takes time, like you see who sticks around after a while. So with Black Sky Society, like I said, it's been around in like active ways since 2020. There have been people coming and going, but there have been like a consistent set of people that have like stuck around. So those are the co-founders now. It's like, even there have been a lot of ups and downs. So it was Julia Prisco, Monica, and myself were the initial, we call them zeniths, and it's not just about being co-founders of a company. We're lifetime committed people to Black Sky Society. It's like for life, 100%, no going back. Like we have no doubts about each other. We have no doubts about Black Sky Society. It's like, that's just what it is, So eventually, to create something like a new society with many different physical spaces around the world, where not you're just like hanging out, making music, blah blah, so we're actually like, how do we imagine a world that is better economically, technologically, mentally, like everything? Like how do we say that we can do it? How do we believe in that? How do we just start transitioning towards the power structures of this world being more, in balance? And how do we make sure, as we do grow and accumulate power, we use that power well and we don't become evil people, So this is what Black Sky Society is about. It's about like needing, like, it's like trying to, contribute to the phase transition of what is happening in society right now, with a necessary transition that is needed when it comes to how we organize, like, labor, capital, resources, etc. And just making sure once you become that new leader, you don't become like evil, like, which is typical of how this how the world works. You know, you just accumulate a bunch of power, and then you're like, okay, now I'm gonna just be crazy. So, so yeah. Um, Black Sky Society. So Skylabs. So Skylabs allow, if people still have a bit of like dictator energy within them, to kind of release it within their Skylab and work through it. But it's just sort of like I said, what's no one's going and like telling a painter that I need to put my paintbrush in. So it's like a Skylab needs to be seen as that way. It's like it's a work of art. It is a space, but it's also like allowing someone to have creative control. Because you don't go in there and like micromanage someone's painting or micromanage someone's song. So it's like the Skylab is treated the same way as like a work of art, and it's respected in the same way. So so yeah, that's the Skylab, and that's this organ of Black Sky Society. So people who come around and they're like, actually, this vision is inspiring, and there is I have to describe a bit more about like what are the like what is the structure of Black Sky Society? What is it exactly? Actually, what makes it Black Sky Society? There are a bunch of other people creating these, you know, new societal structures. Why create a Skylab within Black Sky Society as opposed to somewhere else? And that relates to what we call the sacred architecture, which it's like a system of 21 different elements that constitute, I would say, like the soul of Black Sky Society. And I can go over those elements, so you understand that a bit more, because you know we don't think that Black Sky Society is going to be like, this is just going to replace the whole world. This is the final like one world government. It's all black sky. It's like, yeah, no. I mean, it'd be cool if Black Sky can become about 1% of the world or something like that. But I mean, maybe even less. Maybe it's a small fraction. But like, yeah, why Black Sky Society versus some other new society vision that is emerging, and people will choose to be a part of Black Sky Society as far as like, hey, I want to rent a space, I want to create something, and I want this to be considered a node of Black Sky Society. And people would do that if they're basically aligned with what we call the sacred architecture. So the sacred architecture is consisted of 7 what we call aspects, which is like our metaphysical structure. 7 topics, which are our topics of interest, and then the 7 tenets, which are sort of like behavioral kind of norms, or not fully behavioral, but like how Skylabs interact with one another. So the topics are like, what are the kind of like intellectual things we're interested in. The aspects they're inspired by the 7 hermetic principles, but a bit different. And then there's the tenets. So I'll just briefly describe those, and then I can start to. I'm just trying to see what the timing situation is to flip into some kind of a discussion, and just getting feedback on, you know, what I've presented on what Black Sky Society is, from like just trying to do this in a short way because we started very late tonight and people might be a bit tired, and then just kind of see how the conversation naturally emerges for what people want to discuss from part of the vision. So yes, so the 7 aspects. So we have something called force. And force is the name of, I would say, so within Black Sky Society, people are going to be able to create something like a energetic asset of exchange. We could just say this is our replacement of money. So force flows freely in balance through all planes of existence, from quantum to cosmic. So these are more abstract definitions. Another aspect is complementarity. As above, so below, as in mind, so in matter, as in void, so in form. And then anima. We are not alone, for humanity is entangled with a cosmic network of animas. And then equilibrium. From void to darkness to void to light, all forces seek equilibrium in their eternal dance. Unification. Rational and irrational mechanics flow as one through a cosmic dance. Psychodestiny. As time spirals forward and backward, destiny reveals itself through retrocausal effects. And then transcendence. Beyond light speed lies the realm of instantaneous creation through elevated consciousness. So from the 7 aspects, the 2 that I would say are the most prominent or important as far as the near-term dynamics of Black Sky relate to force and psychodestiny. And psychodestiny is, I would say, uh, it's like it's a practice of sorts where you imagine like the best possible future for society, for the cosmos, for the world. You and you project out your role in it. So you imagine what that future looks like that you are a part of already in some potential timeline in the future, and you start like you're like, okay, you start describing it. You're kind of like channeling or downloading something, and then you're getting the code for yourself, and then you're describing that future version of yourself. So this is like I said, a very important practice that's going to be implemented in Black Sky Society, because it's important for everyone to know how they connect to one another, even though you might not 100% know. Like you're not always gonna know right away that it's I'm gonna do this with that person. It's gonna work out this way or that way. Da da da. But it's good to still have a rough idea, even though things change all the time, and you still have to work with those changes. So psychodestiny, it can be updated. It's not like you write it down once and it's just fixed. It's like, no, you're constantly taking in more data, whether that's through dreams you're having, through conversations, through epiphany type moments. So as you get more data, you update your individual psychodestiny. And then ideally, what happens in Black Sky Society is a collective psychodestiny is formed. So ideally, there's like a recurring practice. This might happen like on a quarterly basis, where we're like, okay, this is what the collective psychodestiny for Black Sky Society looks like. This is how I fit into it based on what I know right now, and then that just updates. So then everyone has a rough idea of each person's trajectory, and then so through this practice, there can be more coherence developed. There are like less questions for, okay, well, why is that person here? So yeah, psychodestiny is a very important, foundational aspect of Black Sky Society. So since we don't have that much time, I'm just going to briefly go through the topics and tenets. I'll just kind of like list them out. So the topics, cosmic discovery is one of them. So achieving greater understanding of outer space and humanity's place through exploration and settlement of it. So yes, the cosmos layer. Planetary symbiosis. So this is like the Earth layer. Creating symbiotic relationships between humans and Earth through regenerative approaches. And then the human layer. So we're humans on the Earth. Human potential. Investigating consciousness frontiers from neuroscience to psychic engineering. And then what do humans do? We create knowledge ecologies. So experimenting with collective intelligence and distributed knowledge systems. How do we do that? We need something like the post-web. So we're advancing sovereign digital infrastructure through local first peer-to-peer networks. And then what about the computers that this post-web is on? Okay, so we have transcendent computing, reimagining human-machine interfaces through biomimetic and consciousness integrated design. And then how does this all come together? Faster than light topic, which is integrating knowledge across boundaries to catalyze transformative understanding. So these set of topics are trying to holistically cover every possible realm of this interconnected system that we need to create a new society where we trust our computers, we trust our software, we feel like the knowledge is flowing in the proper way. The planet is we're treating it well, we're looking beyond the stars, beyond the planet into the stars, other planets, because that is there. That's a realm that exists. And yeah, faster than light. That's kind of like the topic that rolls all topics together, and that's also the name of Black Sky's currency, faster than light. Yes, we're creating currency, because how can you create a new society without sorting out how energetic exchange works in your society? So we have to realistically like design that, figure that out in a real way, not just like, yeah, here's Bitcoin, it's going to be the new thing. No, like that didn't really work. So we have to really sit down and talk about that, and figure out how we create some kind of a form of energetic exchange that works for people. So then at last we have the 7 tenets. So these are the 7 basic laws, not laws, but yeah, the tenets. Here, so I'll just explain them. Autonomy. We encourage each individual's unique path towards transcendence without imposing universal solutions. Adaptivity. We allow diverse, adaptive power structures while maintaining external privacy when necessary. Interdependence. We recognize far-reaching consequences and make decisions supporting cosmic interconnection. Liberty. We work toward expanding freedom and peace for ourselves and also disadvantaged people that want it. Sincerity. We value direct, honest communication over superficial harmony and people-pleasing. Resilience. We grow stronger through challenges, building self-repairing systems that thrive amid uncertainty. And synergy. We expand through profound connection to Earth systems, extending inward and outward simultaneously. So these are the 21 elements that we call the sacred architecture in Black Sky Society. So people will want to buy or develop land or rent a space and call it something like a sky lab that's a part of Black Sky if they align with these things. They don't have to align with studying all the topics or doing research on all the topics, but at least one of them. But as far as the tenets and the aspects, it's like people are somewhat aligned to the aspects, or they're trying to research and understand them. And the aspects are meant to be sort of like our scientific research project, as far as the kind of like metaphysical framework of how energy, consciousness, how the interconnection of everything works. And then the tenets, I would say those are the most fixed out of a lot of them. But at this point in time, since Black Sky is not fully out there yet, and it's still in this like discussion phase, there is room for feedback and modification and improvement to this work in progress sacred architecture. So yeah, I think that's, I would say, a rough, short presentation of the vision around Black Sky Society. So it's like there are going to be a lot of people needed to create something like a new society. Aetheria and this Skylab can't do it alone. It's like this is the start of something. This is one node in the system. And the way that I see this emerging is, it's also very hard to collaborate with a lot of people at once at the start of something. So something like 7 initial Skylabs needed in the first year or two to get this off the ground, and those Skylabs just being very like coherent, like everyone is in alignment. And then from there, it can grow beyond that. So yeah, that is, I think, the best I could do right now for it being so late, and also wanting to have a conversation with everyone. So, I mean, I can perhaps, if anyone has any questions, that could be the first way it can go, or if anyone just wants to say anything, any remarks or comments. Otherwise, I can think of a prompt.
Where do I sign?
Where do you sign? Where do you sign up? What do you want to do? You want to create a Skylab? You want to be a part of one to start? You just look at the stars and you're like, I sign up. It's not coming from me. It's coming from those stars up there.
I'm sent here.
You want to say?
Yeah, thanks. I think that's an awesome vision, and I've loved it like since the day I read the light paper. I think some things in practice it would be awesome to get deeper into is sort of the boundaries and like the action spaces of the I guess skylights and the skylabs, and like in terms of like the analogy, for example, like with the artist, I think there's sort of some part of it like maps, but there's another part that's feels like it should be more interactive, and in the sense that um, a skylab is kind of an emergent structure that has other like players in it. So there needs to be like some definitions of like the boundaries of where they can creatively express, and the skylab itself, or the skylab, I forget like what the skylab leader can express as well, so that you have like some sort of like consent in the context of things that like people can do or cannot do, like going into the skylab. So that would be like a useful, I don't know, like how to like what's the best way
Yeah.
to think about that, I guess.
Yeah, so the thing is, there is not going to be a one size fits all solution for how a Skylab works. It's intentionally trying not to be every Skylab needs to work this way for how people come and stay and like contribute to it. So, for example, the vision around Aetheria is it wants to be something close to a research center that has specific research objectives. So, it's partially going to be more like quasi like a university, and how there's like a professor that's like selecting people to contribute based on their aligned research interests and like contributing to different research projects. But it can also be a bit more flexible too. Like for me, I don't always like being in that position of like, hey, everyone, I'm here. I want to lead things. I like doing flat things as well. So for my Skylab, it's going to be like a mix of both, so I could get what I need out of it. Sometimes like having that creative control where it's like there's this thing I'm interested in researching, and I want to find other people that want to contribute to that. But it's sort of like I need to be leading that research in a bit, and people need to be okay with that. But then there might be other things like, oh, like let's create a magazine together. This is like going to be the topic of interest. Okay, what does everyone think? Let's like co-create this. Let's like meld together. So yeah, it's a Skylab is not trying to be fully prescriptive. I'm figuring out how Aetheria works every month of just trying something different. So it's sort of like I'm still like the lead experimenter that's adjusting the dials and like going through these different motions, and I'm like, okay, I need to do this next time or do that, so that's just kind of how I think like the best way it can work. It's going to be messy when it starts, but eventually it gets more fully formed.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like there, I guess just to like elaborate on my point a little bit, and like I think I'm not sure if maybe like one of the tenants like touched on this or not, and I mean, like Burning Man is like a completely different thing, but there's some things that are super inspiring in terms of how they're like you get a city within a week of 80,000 people, and it works pretty crazy, and they, like over several decades, and I think like I don't remember. I think like consent is like one of the main like one of the 10 principles, and the reason that it's like important at like a tenant sort of level potentially, or like maybe it already is factored into other tenants, is because it's kind of a precursor to pleasure, because if you don't have like acceptance or consent, it's really hard to have an enjoyable experience. So in that context, it's a powerful tool as well, where I think you can also use it towards experimentation. So I would just, yeah, like that's kind of going deeper into like what I meant, I guess. Um, and like for example, if something is an experiment, it could be and I think like agency is one of the like important things like for I think like what you're envisioning. Um, and then you can participate more deeply if you know that you're going into an experiment and it's going to be a flat thing, or maybe next time it could be a completely different, right? And like it could be different from Skylab to Skylab, but it would be worthwhile maybe to like talk a little bit about like what that universal like what the I don't want to say universal rights of skylights or but like I think that those are kind of inherent in the tenants, right, in one way or another. But like, how do skylights exhibit like autonomy within, right? That's I guess what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, so it's not. I'm not saying that autonomy is going to be fully granted within a Skylab. Autonomy comes through your willpower of creating your own Skylab or being a part of one, such that you inspire the leader of it to meld with you and be a zenith of the Skylab. So it's sort of like, you know, just that's just the way it's gonna work. Like,
Right. So
it's kind of like marriage, 'cause like a house, it's like you're finding like for a Skylab. 'Cause for me, a Skylab is my lifetime committed thing. How do I know if someone's here is like committed to this for life? So it's gonna take me a couple years to figure that out for different people for opening up my Skylab. 'Cause if it's not like the same kind of thing, it's like,
so the universal rule is like if you come to a Skylab, like you submit to the rules of the Skylab, even if you don't know them.
what do you mean?
Like for example, you're like from what I'm hearing, and maybe I'm misperceiving.
Mm-hmm.
Like the creator of the Skylab has like ultimate creative control over what happens within the Skylab.
Well, it's sort of like you're going to someone's house for dinner. Are you just gonna go like grab a pan and like just take a bunch of stuff from the fridge and like, or like,
No,
you know,
for sure not. But like,
like
if you're going to
but
someone's
they're
house,
just like it's just
yeah. But there's also that's what I'm saying like about like consent. If you're going to someone's house for dinner and then they tell you, oh, actually, you're also going to be like, I don't know, you need to build me a boiler, and so you're like, oh, I thought I was going for dinner, and so like
I don't really know what you're talking about specifically right now. I think Aetheria is messily organized as a Skylab. I think what happened earlier at dinner shouldn't have happened, and it's because from my perspective, I shouldn't have been that way. So I don't really know what hypothetical situation. If that's the hypothetical you're talking, I feel like it's a subtweet on that, but I'm not sure.
I don't think it's necessarily yeah, like just to,
I'm just not sure what hypothetical you're getting at.
Yeah, I can tie to like specific examples like and like I'm
Okay.
here for like what you're doing, and I
Yeah.
want to like keep doing it in whatever ways
Mm-hmm.
like aligned with what you're envisioning, because I like it's the deepest like way of expressing what
Mm-hmm.
like I've been feeling is needed, so like I'm here for it.
Yes. But yeah,
But
give
in the
me an
context
example.
of like okay, resilient bubble, right? in that context, like for example, like going into it, I didn't know like how long should my talk be, like what would the schedule for it be, am I expected to like pay for groceries or not, or like should I pay for the rent or not,
Yeah.
like what
Yeah, no, I mean everything for how this was organized, this is not a standard of Aetheria and how I want to run this Skylab.
right,
So
that's
it's
what
just
I'm at, that's
it
what I'm
was
trying to
just
get
it's
down
just
to, like, what's the
no,
standard?
but the yeah.
So this is so what I would imagine is that every Skylab can have their own vibe, and some people can run a Skylab, and it's like, you know, it's going to be really emergent, and you're going to go and you're not going to know. I would love to. I would run a Skylab like that, and it's like either you roll with it or you don't, and that's it. You know,
Or you sleep on the roof.
or you sleep on the roof, you sleep in the car. But I do. But I think.
No.
But I think but I think that.
No.
But I think that's part. I think that's part of.
No.
No, but I think that's part of why you need. I mean, I think when you go into this, right? So I was actually not going to say this, but this is now I'm in it.
Yeah.
You know, the idea I would imagine from the talk, right, that all the Skylabs would adhere to the principles, like the
The tenets.
the 7 cubed, 7 times, whatever. I don't even know what's going on, but the sacred geometry, and that so you can count on that, I suppose. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think
And on the small details, they're worked out over time. And it's sort of like, I know that after organizing this whole thing, there needs to be more like, here's an entry, an onboarding thing. Da 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 da. You know?
Yeah, and like there's obviously like just like event-based stuff, and like all events are kind of just they have friction, and it's totally cool. What I'm trying to like get to is maybe like at a tenant level, like what's useful to like embed across Skylabs is like some form of um like if you envision it in the way that like you have to be entirely and completely open to like whatever happens at the Skylab, like that's one way I guess to put it. Or you can maybe frame it in a way where like you as a Skylab founder have to create an opportunity for consent that will like create the experience where people can be free, right? So like I'm just trying to like this is kind of the crosshair, I feel like. So I'm just like placing it there to figure out like if that's already in the tenants, or if that's something that maybe doesn't like belong there at all, or and it should be like you by virtue of just like exploring this, you already participate in something. You're already consenting to like an entirely experimental thing, right?
Yeah, so I think every Skylab is different. If I'm gonna be specific about what is the Aetheria, what? Yes, they share the tenants, but as far as like for example, it might be like it's more like a dormitory of a university, and you don't go there and you're like, I don't have all this freedom. Oh no, you're there not for maximal freedom. You're there for the other people that are there, the knowledge. So you're not optimizing for your personal freedom by going to someone's Skylab. Like, at least like but there might be Skylabs where this is like a total freedom optimizing Skylab. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but you might be optimizing for something else, right? As long as you're making a conscious decision to like oh yeah, thank you.
yeah.
As long as you're like making a conscious decision, like that's I think like what's important. It doesn't matter like what necessarily you optimize for. Like
Yeah.
freedom is not necessarily the thing to optimize for. It could be like learning, or it can be like a struggle or like a painful experience as well, and that could be super useful.
Oh no, it's okay. Just ignore, just
Yeah, yeah,
ignore.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is like you want to know whether you're going to a dormitory, or whether you're going to a museum, or whether you're going to a hotel, or whether you're going to
Yeah,
an institute.
no, of course,
So
of
that's
course.
my only like.
No, I agree, I agree. But thank you for coming here in the messy phase where it's
No,
very
it's awesome.
where it's
like,
very
I'm
confusing
super
what this
grateful,
Skylab
honestly,
is.
like for like all the people and like and what you've designed, like and the talks are like fascinating, and like it's fucking awesome. So
Well, thank you for the presentation. First of all, it was nice to kind of like hear it again, the vision. And I guess my question is because you know that I have already my own project and a community and a space and a non-profit and it's all about like in a particular, there, it's like it's also like we've took a lot of time to build these relationships
Mhm.
that are like real friendships as well. Like it
Mhm.
was kind of purposefully done that way so that we don't, and we also of course we created this like we came up with like shared values as like healing practitioners and like
Yeah, do you want to introduce who you are in your space just
Yeah.
for other people that might be listening?
Exactly. So it's like it's a space in Berlin. It's called Joy Space, and it's basically like a collective of healing artists, like holistic wellness practitioners, and like somatic facilitators, which is very much like a pretty much like a loose collective because I also don't want to like impose anyone to do like anything, and it's not
Yeah.
cult. Like basically the things that connects us is that we exactly what's wrong with a cult, but I think it's just because like I'm not like I don't like personally what for me it's just like I don't want like I like my personal space and a lot
Yes.
of alone time, and
Yes.
I kind of and I'm also like a triple Aquarius, and Aquariuses
Mhm.
usually give people a lot of freedom to be whoever the fuck they want to
Yeah.
be without telling them like do this that way,
Mhm.
do this way. But anyways, like through all these years, like it emerged like as a real collective, and of course not everyone is like always super active, but let's say like the 10 people are always now are like like growing as artists and like in their practice. And yeah, and it's like a whole existing thing. So obviously, but obviously it's not really like financially sustainable beyond like the grants we are receiving. And I mean, like, I didn't want to create like a commercial wellness space. Like, it's just weird to me to be like what's happening in this type of like, yeah, in this. It's not that. Like, it was never meant to be this like, let's sell as many possibly like, let's sell as much therapy as possible. But in the same time, so it somehow magically has been like sustaining itself. We just pay the rent, and we like do events. Like, sometimes they're like commercial, sometimes they're like some art events. Like, it just works out so far. But yeah, of course I would love to figure out like how to connect this organization into Black Sky and what it would actually mean,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like a whole existing as an existing entity.
Yes.
And the same, I think, with Saraswati, who has this like Zerden, which is like a queer garden. It's like a regenerative, more like people who are into like social ecology, like more a Bookchin and regeneration and compost and all
Mm-hmm.
that. It's kind of like its own thing as
Yeah.
well with existing people. And I think it would only make sense to just like join, right? Because it's like these communities talk to each other
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah.
So what's
So
your like vision for that?
so I can explain. So whenever it comes to Skylabs, we're focused on, yes, people that have physical spaces, local communities, and there is a system for, people call it like tokenomics or something when it comes to the Skylabs, where there's a roughly equal distribution of the faster than light token for the 7 initial Skylabs. So that is taking into consideration that part of bringing this vision together is going to be about, yes, connecting with other people that have already done some aspect of community building. So you're sharing that initial, like, hey, like, this is equal. It's not just like I'm the founder of this. I got 90%. Here's 5% for you. So this initial economic design of the Skylab system is meant to align. I would say align energy in that way. So it is more fair for people that are like, yeah, well, I have like this space in Berlin and all these people, and it's like, well, if you're if you feel in alignment and you understand this all now and you want to plug it in, then we can have those conversations in the next few days and see what that looks like. But that's very inspiring that you're I think I didn't even know that connecting with you in Berlin and Joy Space as a Skylab would be a possibility. So I'm like grateful to hear that right now. Yes.
Because I feel like otherwise it's just so. It's nice to start with something that's already like there is so many collectives and communities
Yes,
now,
yes.
right? And it's like nice to start.
Yes. Because whenever I saw your proposal for that institute you wanted to
Yeah.
start, in my head I was like, that could be a Skylab. But I'm glad you said it first.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, exactly. I'm also more like a fan of like not branded things. Like I think what I would be maybe afraid, like, yeah, I guess.
Well, that's the
this
thing.
creative
That's the thing.
freedom.
It's like Aetheria is his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Your thing will be its own thing. But
They
if
need
you
to
want to
connect
be a
to something.
Skylab, you're part of the Black Sky Society brand. It's kind of like you're doing it not because you're afraid of the brand, but because you think let's not even call it a brand. It's like watering down what it is. You
Yeah.
know,
Uh-huh.
it's a sacred architecture. No.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. I know what you mean. Like, in a way, also like Joyce, like it's been a little bit confusing because in some way to like have a space for so long, it it had to have some aspects that look like it's like a little bit like commercial. It gives me a lot of freedom in a way because then it's like maybe some people will just book a session, and but yeah, but it's way more than that. But
Yeah.
just like things need to, because I didn't want to create something that's like it's gonna be like over in
Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
we always need to find like ways to like sustainability, and some people do it in like crypto through DAOs, and but I have like a real space on the street where nobody has idea about nobody knows anything about like crypto, like
Yeah.
it's like witch collective.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yes.
But
Yes,
basically, yeah,
yes.
for them it's like a foreign world.
Yeah.
Like, DAOs and all
Yeah,
the
and
projects.
I think like all that stuff, it can be more like it doesn't have to. It can be slow for how people
Mhm.
integrate with the crypto aspect of things, and that's I would say part of the Black Sky Society vision is not expecting this like full transition to crypto right away, but like where people like the sky like potential like Skylab founders or Skylabs were we're slowly we're having these meetings about our okay, what is this currency going to look like, da da da. Maybe it takes a couple of years. I mean, but there will be like a token at first that's just the initial it's the initial foundation of it, but then the actual like economy of the society, that's like a longer term research project. That will be like an independent blockchain. But everyone is, the 7 initial Skylabs are designing that together. Yeah. Anyone else? Any comments, questions, or
So
conversational pivots?
I mean, I want to continue this Skylab
Uh-huh.
conversation.
Okay,
but I'm
okay.
gonna pivot
Okay.
because I'm really so I've the only
TG
there's a few
sleeping right there.
pivots, but I'm just gonna have one pivot.
Can I say one thing?
Oh my god! Of course.
Okay,
Just
okay,
so
okay.
I was thinking, okay, so reality cult will be part of Black Sky Society, and then my camper can be a sky.
I know. I think I need to figure out like so one thing that came up when starting to discuss this with someone was there needs to be another term for something, because like someone who's taking on the initiative to create a Skylab, it doesn't just start with like a rented space, but it's like, okay, I'm gonna generate enough capital to buy land, to develop the land, da da da. So like a Skylab founder has to have that drive to create that if one is an independent Skylab founder, they're like, okay, how do I grow this so I could buy land and I can develop it, et cetera, et cetera. Because there's going to be 7 of them initially situated around the world. But there needs to be another name for something like these autonomous units, someone that wants to be a part of this whole thing, but is not also saying that's what I want to do. Like I don't want to develop this, but it is like this autonomous node within the system. So yeah, which one are you?
Yeah, because I consider myself more as a nomad.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be hopping kind of like these Skylabs.
A boat.
Yeah,
A boat. We need that
boat.
the pirate
Yeah,
ship.
a
Pirate ship Skylab.
pirate.
Yes, pirate ship Skylab.
So now you need people to go between the Skylab.
Yeah, I think we it's one of the 7 initial Skylabs. I think we really need a pirate ship. Yeah. From camper to pirate ship. Yeah. How they just heard that. Can you want to say hello to your friend? Okay. What's your pivot?
Oh, so I'm really interested in the metaphysics
Uh-huh.
of Skylab and the of Black Sky Society and the hyperdimensional geometry. And one of the things I've been thinking about this during all of the conversations is like yes, the awaken the increasing consciousness of each human, but what does it mean for collectives of people
Mhm.
to have like a collective consciousness?
Uh-huh.
And I'm wondering, so when I hear the metaphysics of Black Sky Society, I think of that. I think of it as a metaphysics or an initiatory structure for collective
self-actualization.
collective actualization.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was just curious what that was my take, but I want to know what your take is and sort of what you're thinking.
Yeah. So, in Maslow's hierarchy, supposedly at the top of the pyramid was self-realization, but I believe sometime before his death, he realized it's actually self-transcendence. So Black Sky Society, I'd say everyone that is a part of it, ultimately they are on that quest of self transcendence. So like just like looking at how their transcendence, their connection with the universe, their connection with their self, their soul, God, how that connects to what am I doing today? You know, where am I situating myself? What Skylab am I a part of? Am I founding a Skylab? Am I joining a Skylab? And how is this greater whole of how I'm transcending? How is it contributing to everyone else transcending faster? Why should everyone else? Why should we accelerate transcendence? Because that's how we make it so, we reduce the amount of suffering, or like how long it's taking to kind of get humans and plants, planet, animals out of a state of suffering into like a increased balance. So that's why we want to accelerate access to transcendence, or not. I don't know if access to transcendence is the right word, but just accelerating the concept of transcendence. Um, and yeah, so I don't know if you asked a question there, but yes, transcendence is a very, it's a core aspect of the seven aspects, the pinnacle.
I guess I just want to hear more about like sort of like the development, and not right now, but maybe over the
Uh
next
huh.
day or so, about like the development of the metaphysics of like the collective.
Mhm.
You know, I feel like that's
Of
something
like, you mean
of
like a general thing?
yeah, of like the collective. And I feel like that's not really something that people have done, right? We have these analyses of like existing political structures or organizational structures and ideas of how to optimize them. But we don't really, and we have metaphysics on what does it mean for a human to self-actualize, but we don't really have an understanding about what it means to be, a,
Okay,
a
okay.
like a group, like
Yes,
like
yes.
together, like we're an organ.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Like
That's,
not,
but yes, this is where psycho destiny comes into play. I wanted to actually sometime to do a psycho destiny exercise together, maybe tomorrow sometime, to just experiment with that a bit, because I haven't done it with a group yet, and I've just really wanted to do that. So I think that's where we can start to just see how it works, because I think it will be experimental at first to connect the each person's stories, visions, and like, okay, well, you presented all this stuff. Does my thing fit into it? I think it's designed in a way where it does, but maybe it's broken. Maybe, like, yeah, yeah.
Like the way like we've been thinking or just like running like or like stewarding rather this community at the joy space, like
Mhm.
that maybe it's not like the most natural thing for people to like just in general to understand, but I've been trying to like realize this Dao vision of like you can self actualize within a collective, right? So you like I just ask people like, okay, what do you want to do? Like what do you want to do? Like just everyone is a creative agent and everyone should be empowered to kind of like realize their vision as much as possible within this collective. I mean, these are also like I'm working with artists, and
Mhm.
so everyone is like quite on their path. But it's just nice that when we are able to like connect the dots, collaborate, when we are able to do an event together, get
Mhm.
all these opportunities to like that are make it sustainable. But then also, of course, this like aspect of like equal energy exchange, like thinking about each other, like helping, like I help you and you help me, like
Mhm.
this reciprocity,
Yeah.
right? Like many things need to be like in a way like to me like this reciprocity is kind of like natural, but some things are just like you kind of learn as you build trust, as you
Yeah.
like exist together, and like it's so I think in the end it can be as this like almost like an organism.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to like worry, like sometimes when I'm like, oh my god, I'm just like throw it, like I'm done. The next day something happens, like somebody says something that like uplifts me or does something takes like a concrete action that I'm like,
Mhm.
wow, like this is like this project is supported, it's not
Yeah.
like you are never like where
Yeah.
just also like it's like a creative group that is like works in a way, like it just develops itself. And yeah, it's I'm and that's all without like, you know, it's very like being intuitive without like reading anything on like these type of organizations as like
Mhm.
biological, you know, like
Yeah.
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 So I would love to like, for me at least, like what I would need more of is
Mhm.
more this like theoretical maybe underpinning or like some kind of structure, like facilitation, just knowing a little bit more how to grow it in a way that's perhaps not so organic or intuitive
Yeah.
anymore, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Because I think the thing is, whenever you start off, you have this, you can have all this like synergy but then once you want to scale something in ways or you grow it, you're like, oh, I want to build a city now. It's like you need sometimes more structure, more organization, more specific people that are doing specific things. So I think that there are different phases of an organization, and yeah, things do start to get a bit more mechanical once things grow. I wonder if we can I don't know how much we can challenge how to effectively build things. If you look at like China or something, it's just like a very like mechanical, hierarchical kind of like, oh, let's just build this city or that city, and it's like, okay, well, some aspect of building Black Sky Society as an actual society that builds something like new cities will have to have that kind of Chinese mentality sometimes, but it might not be for everyone, you know. But it will be needed for the city builder types, which is an important aspect of Black Sky. But yeah, I think it's like I said, each Sky Lab is going to be a bit different. But the thing for creating something like a new society requires some Sky Labs having that, gonna buy land, develop, because it's not just like creating this business that's serving people in the regular world. I think there's a name for what that is in Black Sky Society. It's not a Sky Lab. It needs a different name. But the Sky Lab is like buying acres of land, building like new cities kind of. It's not even like fully like, I guess it's like intentional for like a like kind of like a university, like there's like a university that's built. It has like some vision, and then like this university town forms around it. The university doesn't own all the houses of that university town, but it's sort of like there has to be enough space created for that to emerge around the Sky
But this is
Lab.
also something a
Yeah.
little bit like already aligned as well with like
Yes.
what's happening, because you know, like Brianna, like she was there at the very beginning with like Joy Space, and she was one of the like initiator of even like the culture of the space. And like she moved to Brazil, and she wants to, like, her dream is to create like a retreat, you know, like a spot in like somewhere in like just in the
Yeah.
jungle. Like she's already there, like learning. She's been there for years
Yeah.
now, and yeah, immersed very much in the culture. And you
Mhm.
know, like I know it will happen. This is like
Yes,
her
yes,
psycho
yes.
destiny, and then there is
Yes.
like somebody else moving, like a sound healer, like moving to Senegal and
Mhm.
opening her space there. And then also, of course, there is one more, you know, also Hara with her. She has land in Naxos.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so there is like already multiple people who actually have land.
Yes, yes.
But they are like the first person kind of there. And
yeah.
yeah, I mean, either way, like it will either they will figure it out on their own. I mean, I think Brianna is the closest
Mhm.
with us to like actually working, figuring this out together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it will be interesting because there is all these spots. And I mean, to me, sometimes I'm like, well, my motivation is because I want to like also be just like having access, like being able to like go to like
Yes.
spend time in those
Yes.
places as
Exactly.
well,
Because once they're all set up, there could be the nomadic types that are like, I'm gonna be 3 months here, 3 months
Exactly.
there,
Yeah,
3
yeah,
months
yeah,
there.
exactly.
You
So-
know.
So I think it kind of has it will have this very practical aspect of like people co-living somewhere, like,
Yes.
you know, it's of being at a on a retreat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it makes sense.
Yes. Um. Okay. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was more like maybe more of an answer to you,
Mhm.
or I guess in a structure of a group of people would be wise to really understand each other, get to know each other on a soul level,
Yeah.
like so I guess maybe checking out each other's charts, like astrology and like
Mhm.
synergy in that, and like even past life relationships or that kind of stuff, so that you understand each other's triggers and like
Yeah.
know what you have been doing together in past lives or whatever, and then
Mhm.
build on that and like expand everything. So I think that's also very powerful.
I think that will be an important tool when it comes to people figuring out their Skylab paths together, or psycho destiny. Yeah, because for psycho destiny, I think as much data that people want to contribute to it, whether it's astrological, past life, future visions, it's an important, it's important. So yeah, I think your work and past life, um, past life readings is and also you do past life regression. Are you gonna do one tonight still?
Collab.
Yeah.
Skylab participant. Oh, right. Sorry. The WA, the WA, the super organism. Anyway.
um, Anna, is there anything you wanted to say about Black Sky, Skylabs, Agape, anything?
Okay, so I think we can probably. I think we can probably agree that Black Sky is de facto a kind of like hermetic activist organization. In that spirit, I've been reflecting on like what similarities and differences there are with the history of Freemasonry.
Okay. Do tell.
Because Freemasonry was kind of a hermetic activist group that actually did have an extremely intense cultural effect on early modern Europe and United States, especially. And there's a lot of controversy over the influence of the Freemasons. And I think one of the sort of bad elements of that influence had to do with the like initiatory secrecy and esotericism, where it was like it was sort of this hierarchical, almost kind of like proto-cultic society, where it's like there were these divisions of like, they're all using this kind of hermetic gnosis, but some people are more deeply integrated into the higher levels of like secret teachings, and other people are sort of more on the outside of that, which like kind of allows for this coordination of like certain kinds of scheming that there's still a lot of things that are like not really known for sure about like what the Masons have actually been involved with historically. But like a lot of the sort of like secularization initiatives, kind of like resistance to religious influences, kind of have had Masonic connections. And it's sort of funny there because it's like it's not that the Masons were irreligious, it's just that like their hermeticism was kind of esoterically inclined, so that exoterically it was more like, you're kind of focused on being like this kind of craft organization, and it's like having like effective kind of scientific plans for how to organize society in ways that are less kind of spiritually reactionary or whatever. But I think one of the big pitfalls with the Masons is sort of this system of esotericism and like secrecy. And I don't know, I guess like that was sort of the biggest difference, that when I was reflecting on like how Black Sky has some of these parallels with Masonry, that like one of the biggest differences is sort of the lack of this like secret esoteric initiatory layer. It's something that you see also with like the Theosophical Society, which like also kind of I think had like some similarities, drawing on like Hermeticism and kind of like this like syncretic spirituality, cosmic spirituality. So I guess like kind of just reflecting on like how Black Sky is related to those lineages, and like how it kind of is trying to do something different in a very different ecology, but like even if it is kind of calling upon that kind of hermetic legacy, like you see even within Christianity too, like so much of like the Renaissance was founded on the same kind of principles of like retrieving hermetic gnosis, but I think then too it was also a lot less kind of secretive. It was more kind of like connecting hermetic principles to practices of like realizing them through art and philosophy and culture in kind of a more exotericizing way. So like I guess for me the vision that I would want to orient towards is more that kind of Renaissance hermeticism. Um, kind of be wary of like tendencies towards like the kind of Masonic or like theosophical styles of initiatory secrecy, even if like on some level that actually might be like there are elements of that that are practically necessary. I think like the overall orientation of kind of like being very open and sort of wanting to orient people towards this like sort of spiritual horizon that may be occulted but also kind of like revealed at the same time with psychodestiny. I feel like that like I'm just trying to reflect on like how that is similar and different, I guess, from these sort of like initiatory societies historically.
Can I make a comment? Okay.
Of course, yeah,
Okay,
I'm done.
so
I think.
I think because of the internet and how information flows right now, we are in this transition from the esoteric to the exoteric. So yeah, I don't think this sort of secret society thing works anymore for the future. So yeah, I think that your comments are very nice and relevant, and we're in this age of like revealing everything, all like trying to understand all these like conspiracy theories, the ascended masters, all these like spirits that have been manipulating reality, and like that's one of the I would say like research projects I'm most interested in when it comes to Black Sky Society, is just like understanding the history of all of us, and yeah, how it connects to what we are here to do today. So yeah.
Right, and that involves in some sense kind of this like answer to the history of like theosophy and like those groups, which like because they were some of the only groups that were willing to explore those areas in kind of like a intrepid enough way to like I guess sort of do these like experiments with openness to that kind of spirituality. And I think it was a very kind of like chaotic and in many ways sort of like very harmful sort of set of experiments. Like you could even argue that like like theosophy kind of indirectly like caused Nazism or whatever with like the whole Ariosophy lore, which is like just completely crazy. But yeah, so I feel like there is kind of this like need to answer to that legacy and like both kind of draw on like what the positive insights were from that kind of like exploration, and also kind of like reflect on like what of that kind of needs to be dropped as we move forward into the future, and sort of like I don't know, like recognize that there's a different role for hermeticism in the present age. So
No, I think that's great. We should do like a whiteboard session or like let's keep this. These things have to go. So yes, tomorrow we'll do that. Anyone else have any comments? Everyone's getting tired. Maybe.
I think like I just the
Uh huh.
one last thing.
Yeah. One last thing.
I think because we didn't like touch much upon this, like genius and this collective genius idea, right? And I think in the end, because sometimes it's like, okay, like what are we actually like? What is it like? What are we about? Like, what is this meant to be doing? Like, what are we creating together? And I think this is like this
As a genius.
yeah, exactly, and this emergent, like creative emergence, and this whole I guess realization that like as an artist you can't, or a creative, it's just difficult to exist like by your like independently. You always need to like keep promoting yourself, keep just it's just too much, right? And whether if you exist in this creative collective, you are able to yeah like really focus on your what you are there to do, and like really, it's like ideally like these people support each other, right? And you grow through that process. So yeah, somehow that's just like what came to my mind, like because it's an important, I think, aspect of why this matters, right? Like I don't want to be, yeah, like this is the reason why I would want to be part of,
Yes.
some kind of community like that.
Society.
Yeah, exactly.
We aren't a community. We aren't a collective. We're a society. No, don't say that. Don't say that. No.
German, we're Gesellschaft, not Gemeinschaft.
And any other final remarks from anyone? Because I think we should. This has been a good discussion. I want to have more. But I'm feeling like for the performance, we should probably wrap it. Yeah. Okay. So, this has been really amazing. I really appreciated everything that everyone added and contributed, and I feel very. I'm very elated and excited for what we did in the future that we're just remembering right now. So yeah, thanks for everyone that participated here and others who are watching or who spent the time to watch this in the future. And we're going to have a little intermission, and then we're going to have a wonderful, interesting, yes? Yes, yes, and yes. It's called A Soul's Journey.
A soul's journey.
by Geek. So looking forward, we're just going to point the camera towards the black sky in this little intermission for right now.
Bring the beat.
Just is there something we could do about? Can I move this a bit, or is that done? Dit kan wel iets dichterbij.
Wat je ook kan doen is even zo'n mat eroverheen leggen.
Ja, ik denk dat het meer is dat dit gaat op zich wel, denk ik.
Zie je gewoon zo'n mat neerleggen?
Oh ja, ja.
Die een beetje opzij.
Oh ja, zo. Oh, what? Oh, how are you gonna do it?
No, this one is charged. I can do it with this one. Never mind. I have the power supply. Wow.
Is this all? Is it okay without power for a while?
If somebody else has a USB-C power supply or like a mixer, that would be super well just in case. Just for like just for the other stuff.
Is it? Can you hear me in the YouTube? Did you hear any of that? Check, check. And my vocals are already coming in, or? Yeah? Okay. And this? This also? Is it delayed? Yeah. Great. Cool. I need to fart. I think here? Or the screen just went black. Is that fine? Yeah, okay. Cool. That's Natalia. Love. I guess. Check, check, check. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right, then I guess we can start. Oh, you're all ready for it. Yes? I will start. What is starting? Oh, that's a good one. The camera. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. Let's start with the poem first. Ego enim sum in sacula saculirum. Well, I'm just here to break down strongly entrenched but deeply limiting societal programs and belief systems around our Earth years, our so-called age. The timing of our lives, the stage we're in. I'm awaiting the moment you surrender. I know you're observing me. I know I'm touching down your heart by touching your heart, your soul, and so I'm shattering the restraints, the stains, the regulations as we are ascending to a higher plane. Everything will unfold, I've been told. We're not going insane, we're just paving the way for the ageless stage. Is everybody in? The show is about to begin. The entertainment for this evening is not new. You've seen this show through and through. You've seen your birth, your life, your death many times. Can you recall all of the rest? The counting of the weeks, the years, the centuries. Now, what is time actually? And does it really matter in the speck of your immortality? Immortales sumus. I found out that we in a past life were black magicians, living this bohemian style when we play with each other's wives, living as nomads, married multiple times. It was fun for a while. 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 The supernatural, the alchemical, with lotions and chemicals all so magical, predicting futures, otherworldly beings in the unseen, angels and mirrors and saints in dreams, working together in the most dubious ways, raising spirit from the dead during our trickery days. Time stopped. No words were said when we met at the hilltop castle. The surrealist dance going around and around, bound like two chaotic fractals. Together we're home, forming crystal growth. Too close, into a galaxy that explodes, a black hole. I saw the universe blue, reflecting back my deepest truth, so rude it set me free even more, a liberating galore. Connecting to the universal mind. Right then and there I found but lost you in the celestial reflection. A deep dissatisfaction of my inner self, like hell burned by our hearts, marked by the beast. No words were said when we met, just had to set you free. And me. Here's a wall between my heart and my mind. Fast forward to the Victorian age. We met while I was performing so gloriously on stage. We were just boys in our early 20s, me a bit older than you. You were a thinker, I was a twinker. I dressed as a girl and you played my boo. I lived a life full of debauchery in artistic circles with many friends, wishing to share all of that with you, my love, this heavenly decadence. And you were polite for the sake of our love. But I wasn't at all, I was just a simple connoisseur. Saw my reflections in your eyes around a late medieval time. Got sucked in like a tunnel, conical shaped, I couldn't escape the confrontations with the dark and evil within myself. I'm right awake. It made my mind doubt all the time if I was on the right path. But your masculine and dominant love just made me mad. So I found myself working commissions, free to travel towns, castles and cities, passing through mountains and lakes, unconsciously burning my own bridges, surrounded by a fortress of lies, following dominions. With an army led by you, the devil in the skies. I'm writing this in mirror image for the wickedest spirit. So odd, so brilliant. A free thinker, yes, you. A free thinker, yes, you. Who I'd love to indulge in sodomistic freedom. But behind the walls, for we might have all had sex with one another. I also had a thing for your son, my deviant very sexy, war-hungry battle brother. Anyway, this feast of friends was also so versatile, so wild. And I really felt like part of the family, you know, just for a little while. Something that I didn't know existed, what I'd missed as a child. But this was all before things got very hostile. Murdering and killing sprees, each other and on the fields, utterly depraved, is what they say about the family that I stayed with. I must have made a mistake, a mathematical miscalculate. And yes, this reputation still led to a tiny spark in the Reformation. You did do the good thing, right? Could have been more dreadful of your tribe. For such a terrible notoriety, actually entirely justified. The world on you depends, our life will never end. What do you mean our life will never end, scare emoji?
Going in a loop. It's forever and forever and forever and forever.
The soul of man is like to water. From heaven it cometh, to heaven it riseth, and then returning to earth forever alternating. Okay, so we just reincarnate constantly. Souls never die, but always on quitting one abode pass to another. All things change, nothing perishes. The soul passes hither and thither, occupying now this body, now that.
And there we go, the forever party.
As long as you're not aware of the continual law of die and be again, you are merely a vague guest on a dark earth. Scare emoji. Souls are poured from one into another of different kinds of bodies of the world. As a wax is stamped with certain figures, then melted, then stamped anew with the others, yet it's always the same wax, so the soul being always the same, yet wears at different times, different forms. I'm certain that I've been here before, as I am now 1,000 times before, and I hope to return 1,000 times.
There is no end.
This is the strangest life I've ever known. Reality cults, tweet. How the cross became a symbol for death. Death of the body, the end of a cycle. Did you pay the depths of your sentence? Did you pay with death or repentance? New rounds, new chances. New choices, new magic. North, south, east, west. I'm hanging. You're all a bunch of fucking idiots. Letting people tell you what you're gonna do. Letting people push you around. Projecting much? What do you mean? Well, you're judging other people for letting themselves get pushed around, but you're doing the same and you're drowning in it. And now you signed a contract and you're now stuck in this loop of playing the same show over and over. Ah. And it's driving you nuts. Yeah. No, you're really done with all of it, huh? I hate being famous. No, you hate yourself for letting yourself get dragged into it like this. Yeah, well, now you're subconsciously afraid of getting famous and successful, huh? How's that?
What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna
And this is the energy you're sending out, so you're attracting what you really believe deep down. But somehow you're still convinced you'll get trapped and screw everything up again. You're welcome, lol. Go away, Jim. Reality cult. Tree. One moment. Because it's very fast. I need to get into it. Huh? Yeah, it's trippy. Normally I put it on myself, so I was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. I lost my feelings, lost my ways. Before this I only got astray with some pain. Well, in my own little world, and dissecting bodies, and not just animals. I just wanted to figure out how to make things more tangible, and to see how it works, and then using all these little quirks. As poetry on canvas, and I'm not even anxious, or to feel how it's real, the body, how it smiles. Yes, I followed my soul all the time.
We could plan a murder or start a religion.
Seeing my burdens in the water, falling and drowning, as a reflection of the mirror of my soul. Suddenly yours, melted to grow. If I dive deep, I can follow my inner sea and see salvation as it sets me free.
Cancel my subscription to the resurrection.
I'm aware I'm squaring the circle. Higher levels of learning, mind, body, soul, expansion. I'm a triangle. Tree is all I see. My sun signs degree in astrology. Astral means stars. Logos means reason. A reason to live? No, the reason you live.
Do you know the warm progress under the stars? Do you know they exist?
A reason to think. Logically encoded, written in the stars from the moment life starts. With mind over matter, that spirit fueled thy heart.
Have you forgotten the keys to the kingdom?
You were writing poems about me in attempt to forget how you pushed me away, my love, and how much you did regret. Oh, you even tried black magic, attempting to destroy your obsessions with me. 'Cause you only thought of our love and how everything turned out to be. Oh, you went dark, my dear, wicked sex, magic, and scheming. Using heroin and all sorts of drugs, starting a cult, summoning demons. So the intensely pure flame of admiration got twisted. Our mirroring souls got us both way more self-indulgent. We both went under in addiction and in sorrow. We both embraced our lifestyles fairly thorough. I can see you're overwhelmed. I can't help. It's my heart that's casting spells. And the serpents move upwards, my spine fired up to intertwine. Meanwhile, inner reflections, resurrections, I'm alive. Insecurities, thought forms. I'm ageless. We are divinely calculated. Freedom of the soul, come close. It's part of the plan. Can you feel it? Sentira anima nostra. This is where the merging happens. Lol, Marlowe wrote a play about me. The tragical history of the life and death of Dr. Faustus. Well, it was an English translation of an older German version. But he used me as inspiration. Hee hee. And then I reincarnated and did it better myself. Oh, no, wait, me first. No, wait a minute, these drawings are mine. Yeah, no, but you came after me. Side note, those drawings are inspired by Dante's Inferno, who portrayed me being punished in hell for simony. Cool emoji. He should have written about me though. I killed 100,000 people because they were not following my faith. Now, that's just evil. Well, in fact, it's all of us, isn't it? So you are also evil. Yeah, we're in this together, man. Who the hell are you? Who said hell? Scare emoji. Just cut to the chase, people. Now, what are you doing here? The evil which does me no harm is like the good which in no wise avails me. Anyway, so Faust is about a highly successful yet dissatisfied alchemist who makes a pact with the devil, exchanging his soul for "You sold your soul," slap on the face. Yeah, not me, but D. That is you though. Ha 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 ha, lol 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 lol, ha ha ha, lol lol lol. Stop! There is no absolute good or evil, nor is there truly any selling your soul. You have control over your own destiny because what you believe becomes your reality, and that belief will manifest in your life. If you believe that an evil being is out to get you, then the universe will conspire to make that belief a reality. The forces of reality, shaped by your own mind, will align as if such an evil being exists. The same applies to the belief that one can sell their soul to the devil. This concept, originating from your own mind, becomes real because we are all connected to the universal mind. You are part of the endless creation of that mind, and you attract what aligns with the frequency you send out to the universe. The point I'm trying to make is that we should focus on healing ourselves and releasing the fears and doubts rooted in past life trauma, which are imprinted in our subconscious. We must strive to become one with our soul, and by doing so, we can discover our unique and divine purpose, which will serve as the fundamental truth guiding our actions. This truth will transcend trauma-based, ego-driven motives and free us from evil. When you achieve this, you will become a channel for the universe and can begin creating pure bliss through the universal mind, and together we create a new world. Reality called 3333. Anyway, you're also just following your passion, which for you was using the Vatican and the church for family fortune and satisfaction. And getting into the papacy by simony and bribing. Some slaughtering on the way, and later, of course, dividing the new world. But that's just a side note as far as I'm concerned. And besides, you were patron of the arts, spreading the gospel of craft. And in me, you saw a star.
Freedom lies within the strength to admit one's guilt, take down defense. Emotions watered down in retrospection. The ego fades, the mind's reflection.
Am I losing what and who I am? By believing you are part of my soul. But this all was also leading to this, a deep friendship sadly swallowed by the abyss. Our obsessions, the swapping possessions, the experiments, the substances, the building tension. And while Europe had become less accepting, started rejecting magic for Christianity. A mystery, insanity, a mystery, I tell you, insanity. In the silent dance for hours, moving around the sun devoured, spinning faster and faster, pulling hair, liquid disaster, naked rooftop climbing escapades, divinely moonlight illuminating my rage. I'm a snake, and you were an actress. I got obsessed and I wanted to kill you. Your echo got into my head. Too much acid. Twisted up, pushed you down, transcend, destruct, descended. Hurts to set you free. The end. And the water ripples through, making waves, making shapes as a token that it's never too late to wash away what has been broken. And it will clean the slate and crave and pave in the home of my nose. Separate my darkest and my low, and we will dance in the mirror of my soul. And we will dance in the mirror of my soul. I am decoding systems, tracing back wisdom, geometric puzzles, word riddles by opening the gates to the kingdom. I shake despair, together we've revealed what always been here. 624, 426, Enochian manifesto ciphers filled with bliss. I'm aware I'm squaring the circle, masculine and feminine, a dual into union, transmutation from lead to gold. The study of the self is to be able to mold thyself into a better version. The Alchemist. R-I-I-N, I-N-R-I, Jesus Nazarenus Rex Iodiri, 1919, St. John's Passion. Let's turn this into fashion, dressing in pinks and purples, velvets and satins. The anti-pope has spoken. Faustian Mephistopheles, putting 3 dots, decrease the light, to point, to see, to put in stone and understand the laws of the universe. Act 3, Scene 3. You should know your own degrees, like in ancient Egypt, but then flip the script to be recognized by the initiate. The Divine Comedy, a directed theater scene but painted, and so it is believed for the last meal to be revealed. 3-3-1-3-3, proto-mathematical codes, flowers of life, blood from the rose, for the Holy Grail is yet to unfold. Brought to a cave to communicate with the originators of the cosmos, to learn how things work through words but not get lost. Gospels are God spells, so let's read them as a manual. Was it a pact with the Roman Empire or with the devil? Divide and rule is sound advice. Unite and lead a better one. And at the moment of commitment, the entire universe conspires to assist you for the enlightenment of all.
The world on you depends, our life will never end.
Haven't I healed enough? Haven't I changed?